Hello, Claire.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Excellent, good. The first thing I wanted to ask you about was being on the sort of BBC Sound Of list and also the MTV one as well.
Yeah.
Is that sort of pressure on you? Is that like a blessing or a curse or a mixed blessing? You know, do you feel like there's pressure to kind of justify that kind of expectation?
It's funny actually because loads of people ask me whether I find it to be pressure, but for me it's really brilliant and exciting, because I think that my music is quite slow burner music. It's not like instant, so I think that the more people talk about me or have heard my music and enjoy it and write about it, especially like really credible things like the BBC and MTV and the Q Award, it's really brilliant for me, because I want it to get to as many people as possible. So I think that if they read my name, maybe they'll go and look at my YouTube and watch my video or something, you know. So, and I really want it, and I love music, so.
And of course, you're at that stage now where the album's out end of this month. Is that
yeah,
right?
Yeah, 28th of February.
So well remembered. So like. This whole kind of 2.5 year process has it been since you were signed?
Yeah.
It's all kind of coming to its fruition point now.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Is it scary, exciting, a bit of both?
A little bit of both, I guess, but more exciting because, as I say, like I'm so obsessed with music, and I love every aspect of it, and I love, like, you know, the video making process and the artwork and the production and the writing and the live shows, and I'm just getting to be involved in all of that side of it now, and that is really inspiring for me, and it makes me kind of. Doing a live show after doing a video the day before, you kind of think, oh, I'd love a song like this, and it makes you want to go and write. And you know, I've already said, like, I can imagine putting like a 6-track EP out in the next like 4 months or something, because I'm just getting really inspired by the whole thing. I love it.
So it's making you prolific in a sense, and of course it's a culmination of everything you've always wanted, I'd imagine, as well. So it's got, how could that not be exciting? Yeah. Okay. You mentioned you've always loved music and your background. Your biog says that you've been singing and writing music since the age of 7.
Yeah.
How did you start writing music at 7? What's going on in your background that makes you do that?
Well, I think I always loved stories and storytelling, and I think that, and I was always very, very visual. But I was quite dyslexic as a child, so writing was actually quite difficult. But I kind of used to write almost in pictures, like I used to sort of, you know, I'd put a sentence and then I'd put a picture by it or something. And I was listening to a lot of storytelling music, and I think that, but I was always singing from when I can ever remember. And I just think that it was around then where I just started to sort of think, oh, I want to sing like a story or something. So I was just writing kind of a short story and sing it. Yeah. It's not like I was brilliant at, you know, arranging or anything. It was that kind of thing, you know. And
of course, large Irish family as well. You know, there's no shortage of music in those households. I know because I'm from one.
Right.
What were they like about all of this? Are they supportive?
Yeah, extremely supportive, very, very supportive. I think it's kind of really surreal for them, you know, because it just obviously doesn't happen to many people, and I think that they're just always ringing and always talking about it, and really, really excited, especially as though nobody's gone into the music industry in my family, and they love it. So,
of course, you say it doesn't happen to many people, but you make it happen yourself. Well, certainly you did anyway. From what I understand, you were coming down to London from sort of 17, trying to, you know, meet people and get contacts and that kind of thing. Do you have any idea where that sort of drive and self-confidence comes from?
I think that I've just always had it. I think that when I like love something or really, really want something, I kind of go really tunnel visioned, where I don't see anything, and I just so believe that it can happen, and you know, and that kind of thing. And I think that I just you know, had that, just, it's a real passion, a bit of a rebelliousness as well, I think, that that happens, and I've just always had it. I think it must come from somebody in my family, I don't know.
Is that a rebelliousness against, you know, limitations? Is that what
almost, yeah. It's kind of, well, I always say like a rebel personality is somebody who just believes that anything can happen and don't see sort of that things can't or something, you know what I mean? I think that I was always a bit like that and just always believed in it.
Right. MySpace, obviously a big part of getting you out there and getting you known. Do you ever think about what you might have done in a pre-internet era when that wasn't available? Do you think it still would have happened for you?
I think so, just because of my passion and determination for it, and my love for it, and I think that could have happened, but it would have just taken a lot longer. I think because I was just so obsessive about it when I was at home and when I was working in Topshop, and I was putting demos on MySpace every night, and I was literally not sleeping for months, just trying to connect with somebody who might, you know, sort of like it. And luckily I did, because a producer called Primary One found me and asked me to work with them. I got a manager from it. So, you know, and I do think it's really important for anyone who wants to be in the music industry to really use like MySpace and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, because it does really help. Yeah.
And of course there's always the other route, which is increasingly popular, which is X Factor and that kind of thing. Is that something you think you ever would have done if it was a last resort, or would you not?
I don't think so, because I used to be given sort of application forms from friends and family and everything after I dropped out of school, because they were all worried, and they're like, "Oh, no, X Factor," and but I never wanted to, just because I never thought of myself as like a singer. I just thought of myself as somebody who just loves all aspects of it, like, you know, as I say, the production, the artwork, the videos, the writing, all that kind of thing. And I think I just sort of knew that probably be limitations with going on a show like that, but I completely understand it, why people go on it, and you know, I think it's a great entertaining show, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
To change the subject completely now, I noticed on your bio you've got a lot of time for Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who's a big kind of heroine of mine as well, but, but really kind of underappreciated, I think, generally speaking.
Yes.
How did you discover her, and what did she sort of do for you, as it were?
I discovered her when I was sort of, I remember I was about like 13, and I was like doing a paper, and I was going into the record stores of Birmingham asking people what to listen to, and just remember the first people sort of said to me Johnny Cash, Bob Dylan, and then I started to listen to them, and then I started to look at what their inspirations were, and then I found Sister Rosetta Tharpe through Bob Dylan. It was influenced by her, and I just remember watching it and hearing it and just being absolutely blown away. I just couldn't believe that this kind of, it's almost like, I always say with people like Sister Rosetta Tharpe and people like Johnny Cash and Howlin' Wolf, their voices is almost like they're speaking to you, like they just know everything, and it's like you're having a conversation rather than just hearing a song. And yeah, it completely took me out of myself, and I absolutely adored it, and she is probably my favourite female artist of all time, I think. And
a rebel personality to bring yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, coming kind of up to date now, record's out on the 28th, as you said. You toured with Plan B, is that right, towards the end of last year?
Yes.
What's it like supporting an artist like that? Because presumably people haven't come, or most people haven't come to see you.
No.
Is that scary?
I think when I first went out, and it was in Nottingham, and I remember going out, and I'd never played any of the songs at all with my band, and just walking out to like 3,000 people was quite daunting. But then, you know, Plan B and his band and his tour manager, everybody was so respectful towards me, and they completely understood, and they made it really easy for me. And I think that the more I did on that tour, the more I fought for it, almost, because obviously my music is very different, and you know, it was challenging, but at the same time, all the fans of his were like appreciative of me coming on there and doing it, and they were like really fun and great.
Must have been a buzz, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a massive buzz. I mean, like, how many people want to go on tour with someone like me? I was so lucky. I absolutely loved it.
How did that come about? Was he aware of you? Or?
Yeah, well, my manager, I think, signed him, and so they always speak, and they're good friends, and I think that he heard me through that, and my manager went and played him my album, and he really liked it and asked me to come on tour.
You're headlining your own tour? Yes. Just announced, just this week, wasn't it? Well, yeah. How are you feeling about that?
I'm really, really excited. I think for me it's going to be, because I supported Hertz as well just recently, and, you know, for me to be able to go out to people who've actually come to see me and might know the songs is so exciting. I'm just really, really looking forward to it. It'll be the first time that I get like people who will come and see me, and I'm like, I'm thinking about different things I can do, like putting songs in the show that nobody's heard, and just, you know, to give everybody a good night who comes.
Do you do any covers?
I do at the moment I'm doing a Fleetwood Mac cover, Big Love, but I want to try and get some more contemporary covers that people wouldn't expect me to do. You know, so I'm working out on my band at the moment.
Have you got a short list? I'm after a sneak preview, but if you're not allowed to say, don't worry.
Well, I don't have a short list, but I have constantly said that I really want to try one of the Kanye West songs for him from his new album, because it's one of my favourite albums of all time at the moment. I love it, and
be nice to hear someone who can sing them do it.
Yeah. It'd just be interesting to see what how we could interpret it, I guess.
Okay. I'm really interested in this second single now, which you've probably been asked about this before, but I understand it's about Michael Jackson. It was written the day after he died. Yeah,
it was. It was definitely triggered by his death, absolutely. I was a huge fan of his from childhood, and I think, he when he did pass away, I didn't really believe it, and I remember going on Google and seeing whether it was true, and just seeing quite a lot of nasty, mean kind of comments, and it made me a bit upset. And I just remember sort of going into the studio the next day and talking to my producer about it for 2 hours, about how angry I was that people were so disrespectful to him, and he was just like, okay, well, let's just write a song, and I wrote it very, very quickly, and it's one of my favourite from the record. I love it, and hopefully people like it, and I love the video as well.
I've not seen the video, but how long has that been in existence?
About a month, I think. But that, I was really, really heavily involved in that. I did it with directors called Alex and Leanne, who were absolutely brilliant, and really let me be really hands-on, which I love. So I was really, really excited about it, and I love it. So go and watch it.
Okay. Would you describe yourself as ambitious?
Yeah, very. I do think that I'm very, very ambitious, and always have been. But I think that that's just anyone really has got a certain level of ambition, and it's when you are really in love with something, you just want to be the best at it that you possibly can be. So I think that kind of is ambition almost. You know what I mean?
What about control freak? Would that be fair?
I think in certain, I do like to sort of control the situation that I'm in terms of with music and with artwork and videos, that kind of thing, because I just want it to be as brilliant as possible for the people who are going to listen to it and buy it, and who kind of really expect something from you, and you just, I think you have to be in control of that. But in other aspects of my life, definitely not.
Right, okay. It's a work focused thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm just obsessive about work rather than I wouldn't be like that at home or anything.
That's good to know. Final thing I wanted to ask you about is, did Jay-Z take you for dinner?
No,
it's not true.
He didn't take me for dinner, but there was a label who was trying to sign me in America, and they brought me to his restaurant, Spotted Pig, his and Bono's restaurant in New York, which is amazing. And I just remember I was there with them and my manager and my guitarist, and I was having a burger, and these 5 guys walked in, and somebody said to me, "Oh, that's Jay-Z," and I said, "No, it isn't. It has to be a lookalike," because I just didn't believe that I'd ever meet him. And he came up and he was just like, "Hey there," whatever. And then he started talking, so I was like, "Oh, it's definitely him. This is crazy." And he brought me and my label and my manager and guitarist upstairs, and we all had some drinks, and he was just talking to us. So it wasn't like he came specifically for me. It was just kind of, I think the label just said, "We've got somebody here."
Somebody.
Yeah.
but he said that you've got style qualities, didn't he?
Yeah, well, we were all having I was having a few drinks. He was very professional, and I was just asking him. I was just like, how can you sort of, how have you got to where you are and everything? He was just like, "Oh, you've got to just work really hard and be really focused," obviously, which he obviously is, and he said, "But you can always tell, because you can always see it in people's eyes." And I said, "Oh, can you see it in my eyes?" After I'd had a few drinks, and he's just like, "Yeah."
Fishing for compliments with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And it worked. All right, well, that was really nice. Thank you very much for your time. And
thank you.
Good luck with the record and everything else.
Oh, cheers. Bye.